Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Here I explain in a simple way how to create jewels in Rhino. My goal is to help you learn the program as quickly as possible. Thanks for watching and enjoy the video. First of all, let's create a circle with the center 0 and the diameter 17 and I press shift so it is well aligned. Now I use divide, select, and I click the two quadrants of the circle. I delete one half and I focus on the other. Now I rotate it by -15. I move it a little to the right. And then now I use the mirror command. I click the semicircle as a center and I use end quadrant, and with shift activated I go to the right. I do the same thing by clicking upwards. Now join these two semicircles. I want the ring to be more squashed, so I modify it with gimbal. Now I use the extend curve command, and as a point I choose end quadrant and I go to the right by 3, same thing for the bottom section. Now I create a circle with center on the quadrant and I move it to the end. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V, and we copy and paste the circle and move it to the end. Now let's sweep one binary. This is the track, these are the sweep shapes. I modify and press enter. This is what the structure of our ring looks like. Now I want to create the upper part of the nail. Select the cylinder, use the center of the curve as a base. And I create a base of more or less this thickness. I temporarily hide the cylinder because I wanted the structure of the ring to be thicker and closed. So I select the curve, move it down by -0.3 and I do the same thing with the curve below. The gimbal active, I enlarge the curve by pressing shift so that is homogeneous. I do the same for the one below. Now I shove the cylinder and place it precisely in the center of the curve. Now I increase the thickness of the base curve a little. Now let's create the cuts on the surface of the ring. I select the cylinder and make it more or less this long. Squashing it a little. And now let's move it on the ring where we want to create the hole. Let's use the array polar command with the center 0, number of elements 4, and this is the angle. Now to make volume difference, we need to make sure that the elements are close. So I use the cap command on the ring structure. And finally, I use the volume difference. I'm going to do the same thing on the inner surface of the ring. And now we are going to smooth the edges with the fillet edges command. And the next radius is 0.2. Let's do the last thing, that is create the end of the nail. I check on the curve and with gamble I extrude, and then always with gamble I make the new curve smaller, having shift active. And I lower it a bit. Now I use the fillet edge command again between the surface now created and the ring structure, and the radius is 0.3. I do the same thing on the final curve with the radius 0.3. Now I want to give the angular shape of the end of the nail, so I use volume difference. First of all, I create a parallelepiped that will cut the tip. I move it on the ring, rotating it and adapting it. Now I use the mirror command with the center of the quadrant and I click to the right. Now I copy and paste and rotate it by 90 degrees. I adjust the right parallelepiped. Now I make the volume difference, and here is our ring. As a final thing, I only do fillet edges on the tip with radius 0.3 and I have finished the structure. For the second version of this ring with the diamond crown and the engraving, we will see you in the next video. We have finished our ring. Now the only thing we have to do is add the texture to our pleasure. I personally prefer the yellow gold color, and as for gloss I put 91. That's all. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel to support me. If you have had any kind of problem, you can write it in the comments or contact me in the email I left you below. I will answer you immediately. In any case, see you next time!